What You Gotta Do is on now.
Recording. Hello and welcome to What You Gotta Do podcast with your hosts Codie and KT, where we discuss relatable topics and inspire one another to live a simple, abundant life. Well, howdy Codie, you are looking pretty as a peach today.
Howdy KT.
How's life going? You look so wonderful.
Thank you. I have gotten a lot of sun lately. I feel really good. Life's good. I'm loving summer.
God, I love the summer.
Love the summer. Just so happy it's here. So what's going on? What's new in your world?
My one son is home. My other son, this is funny. I just got a WhatsApp from him this morning, and he said, "Hey mom, I won't be until Monday. My flight got delayed." And I thought, you never sent me any, I knew he was supposed to come in sometime soon, but I didn't. So I'm not let down because I didn't really even know he was coming this weekend.
Surprise.
So yeah, he'll be here Monday. So I'm super excited.
That's exciting. So you'll have both boys home for how long?
It could be anywhere from a couple weeks to a couple months, depending on their living situation. So, and it's fine. It's fun.
Enjoy them while you have them.
Yeah.
Enjoy them while you have them. Well, I was reading over some fun facts, just interesting facts this morning, just to kind of get my mind going with some creativity. And I found one that I thought would be very poignant today because it kind of, I think, says something about you and I. Research shows that people who laugh at dark jokes have higher IQs and report less aggressive tendencies.
Oh my God. Does that mean I'm dark?
I think.
Because I'm so non-aggressive.
I was thinking you laugh at dark jokes like me. So I have higher IQs.
I believe it. I must have a really high IQ then.
You're like off the charts. Off the charts.
Don't tell my family that. They would laugh very hard.
Well, let's segue into our topic today. Are you ready for that?
I am ready for this topic. I've been really excited about this topic. We focus on women so much. We have so many lists for how women can be better or how we can unite with women. But I thought, what about the men? What about all the loved men in our lives? So we have something special for men today.
Yes, it's how to encourage or enhance masculinity today is our topic of choice. And I was actually thumbing through some of my notes, KT, the things that we had brainstormed to topics and ideas and speakers that we would like to have on our podcast. And we actually talked, I have a point there that said how to help moms raise men. That was what I wanted to focus on. And we kind of tossed around it, but we haven't really addressed it until recently. And we hear a lot of things going on, and you and I feel, you have a husband, you have boys, I have a boy, I'm a sister to all brothers.
Mm-hmm.
And so masculinity and being a male is very important to me and has been a big part of my life. And so we developed a list together. I should say you developed a list really of how to enhance and encourage masculinity. And I don't think this is really necessarily even for men only. Because I think
and that's the great thing. Yeah, anybody can use these points. I need these points in my life. So
yeah, I think it's important for women to really understand a masculine mind frame so that we can work together and be compatible. It's just like understanding the other side of the politics, the other side of the agenda, the other side of any sort of debate or topic. It's important to see it from both sides and then just find your middle ground. So let's go through some of the points that you developed for this particular conversation today.
Okay, the first one I call declare your passion. Challenge yourself with an extreme commitment or goal that makes you shriek with joy just thinking about it. I mean, one thing, what is your passion? What is something you've always wanted to do? Like whether it's going skydiving or I don't know, I can't think of any more, but you need to find that passion and a goal, something to reach for, something really, really on the top that your fingertips are just trying to touch it, and go for it and write it down. Write it down. Put it on. Codie, aren't you the one who puts it like on your bathroom mirror? You set a goal. And now that you know that goal, take every day or try constantly to make a small step every day towards that journey.
I do. I have a vision board. So as cheesy as it sounds, you think it's a cheesy thing, but I have all these goals and you need to be reminded of them, but you do need to have a picture, a really strong picture of what those mean. And when I made this vision board in January, I'm the type who I wouldn't let myself have any fun until I finished this project. And it was a really deep thought project because I would write down something that was important to me. Then I'd go look for a picture that represents that. And when you try to put an image with what you're trying to put together or what the picture that you're trying to develop, it was really challenging for me because it kept me challenging. Is that what I really want? And it kept me going further and further. But the cool thing about that vision board, I think, is that I look at it every day and each picture represents something so significant. And I try to work on just one little thing every day towards each of those things. If it's getting out of bed, hallelujah, that's a win. Right? Because you have to get out of bed in order to achieve any of those goals. So it's just a baby step that you don't even think about, really. That you just start taking little baby steps to progress towards that goal.
So I've decided that my biggest passion is to be able to retire. I know it sounds wimpy, but when you get to be my age, that's my biggest passion.
I hear you.
So for me, just making sure I put as much of my paycheck into my 401k, just things like that. Since that is my biggest passion, I'm going to work really hard to do it. I'm working really hard to kind of delete all the things in my home that aren't necessary so that when I am able to retire and move to my dream place, I don't have to worry about that. So that is my passion. I'm going to work consistently on getting to that goal of being able to retire happily.
Did you just declare what you got to do after our first bullet point, Katie?
Yeah. Okay, we're out. Thanks for joining us.
We summarized this up in 7 minutes. Okay, well, I think that's awesome. I would like to support you in that endeavor.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Ma, I'm going to talk about number 2. Leave your past with an unflinching walk. Walk away with, I think, a run, actually. Unflinching run. Run away with the explosion of your past behind you and picture it in your head now.
Can I tell you something really quick?
Absolutely.
Unflinching walk is actually a term in the movie industry where, when like in Fast and Furious or whatever, when something blows up behind the team and they almost in slow motion walk away with the explosion behind them.
So that's a term in the script, like it says.
Right. It's called an unflinching walk. Like when the explosion happens, you don't flinch. You walk really cool away. And that was my point. Walk away from your past. Don't flinch. Don't get freaked out about it. Just walk away and leave it behind you.
Back. I think don't look back. I think every time you look back, you're just you keep dragging that past back in. And you had mentioned that, I have a couple stories. One, I remember probably like 26 years ago or so, I was hanging out with some people from my church group at the time. And I remember one guy said to me, "Quit living in the past." And I was like, "Oh, okay." Like I was like 21 at the time. I mean, I didn't have much of a past to live in. But I remember that really just stuck in my head. Like if you hear phrases sometimes that's just like, okay, that one needs to go in the filing cabinet for sure. Mm-hmm. And that's something that I've always remembered. And remember in the movie Napoleon Dynamite, Uncle Rico.
Uncle Rico.
Who was always talking about his good old high school days and how far he could throw the football. And nobody wants to be around Uncle Rico. It's live today as today. And I think more importantly than not only beating yourself up over that past and not looking back, but don't throw other people's past in their face. If they are really trying to overcome obstacles and you're really seeing little baby steps of progress, or even if you're not, it is not your place to throw their past back in their face. They do it to themselves enough, I'm sure. They don't need someone else doing it to them.
I'm so glad you added that in there. I didn't think about that at all, Codie. You're right. I need to be respectful of other people's past, AKA my husband. I'm always throwing stuff in his face.
Do you remember that time when... Yeah. out of left field. Slap in the face.
But yeah, whether good or bad, the past is gone. Don't spend another minute either sulking or reliving what is gone. Blow it up. Leave it behind. Live in the here and now. Work on your great future.
And the future is great. Next point.
This is a little more you, and I need help with it. So I'm going to talk about it, but I think that you're very good at this. Be daring and adventurous. Take a risk at least every day. Get your heart pumping. Adrenaline helps increase muscle strength, alertness, and general performance. Live on the edge, but that doesn't mean haphazardly. I am not daring or adventurous, and I think I really need that in my life. And nothing is sexier than a man that's a bit daring or adventurous. And I'm not talking about, we just watched that movie the other day where those guys like blow themselves up, and Steve-O, Jackass. So we just watched Jackass. I don't mean those guys. That's crazy. That's not daring or adventurous. That's absolutely insane.
That's nuts.
But I think it is super sexy when you see a man, a grown man doing stuff like riding on a skateboard, or just my husband, he'll climb up on the roof and work on that air conditioner, and he's older, and I'm like, ooh, you're sexy. I think it's awesome. Can you talk a little bit about what you do that's daring and adventurous every day that can inspire us, Codie?
Yeah, so that's funny that this came up, because I was just telling somebody yesterday that I feel like I'm an adrenaline junkie, but not in the sense of danger, but I love to push like physical limits. So I'll run sprints, and I have a new goal this summer. But anyway, I try to run sprints, and I started running sprints just to lean down a little bit but it really has pushed my adrenaline. And I will find if I'm at work and I'm trying to focus on a report or a concept, and I'll start to get a little, closed eyed and start to fall asleep a little bit. I'll get up and I'll just do like maybe 10 push-ups, or I'll do like 10 squats or something real quick just to get that adrenaline up. And that's what I'm addicted to, is that the feeling that you get after you do that. Your blood's pumping, your heart is racing. But I think mentally challenging yourself too, it's really important that you do that. It's taking that one phone call that you don't want to make, or that one task that you keep moving to the next day because you can. It's stop with that and just, what's holding you back from completing that project? So just get it done. And that's an adrenaline boost too, I think, for myself. When I get that done, I'm like, okay, now I can do something else.
Yeah, I think when you do those daring and adventurous things, it helps you to be more focused on those tasks or things you need to get done.
For sure.
I know that you get out there and you skateboard with your kids.
Yeah, it's fun. And I look like an idiot. I can't imagine what I look like sprinting at the track, like this middle-aged woman who thinks she's running like Tom Cruise on Mission Impossible. But anyway, it's ridiculous.
I have a tricycle and I ride around, and it's super easy once you get used to it. It's very safe. So I just got a regular bicycle, and I had to reacquaint myself with it, and I put on my little helmet, and I feel really dangerous, but I'm getting used to it. But it's really helped me I needed that. I needed to get off the tricycle and get on the bicycle.
Get out of your comfort zone and push.
Yeah, it's time.
Yeah, you're not an old lady. You do not need a tricycle.
But it's so nice.
All right, our next point, be in command. Be a leader, not a follower. Take control of your life and your goals. Not being in control can cause hopelessness, thoughts of failure. Fuel your own fire. You will naturally inspire others to feel the power. I have always felt, or oftentimes, I remember a couple of times in my life where I look back and you're going through something in your life or a time period, and you want to be rescued. You're waiting for maybe the little, like the Titanic boat to come get you, those little rescue boats to come get you out of the water and pull you out of your hard time or your trouble. And really, nobody's coming. So you have to take control of your life, be in command, be a leader of your life. But what other ways can you take leadership, KT? Have you given any thought to that?
Well, you said be a leader, not a follower. And I hate to say it, but I'm just naturally a follower. And I need
There's
to
nothing
be
wrong with that,
of a leader,
right?
because contrary to popular opinion, leaders are not born. They say a born leader. You're not a born leader. You've developed that. And people develop it by taking action. If you take action, you get results. The results lead to confidence. And here's the thing, the actual achievement that you're taking action on is not really it. It's that you hung in there. You kept fighting for it. It gives you confidence, which makes you a better leader. And I think that you're really good at that. You are a great leader. I think that's why we make a great couple. You're the leader, I'm the follower. I really like it. But I think that you're great at taking action. Like at the end of each show, your comment is take action.
Take action, claim freedom. Yeah, take action. You have to take action in your own life. So I think about how you could develop those leadership skills. And we've talked about this before. I love reading like military books, like Navy SEAL books, or people who have been in like Army boot camps. We follow David Goggins. So I think if you really take the time to understand what it means to be a leader, and you are a leader of your own life, KT. I've seen you grab your, enhance your career in certain ways and things that you do. I think so. You don't necessarily, it's not leading a squadron or leading a team or managing people or whatever, but in some way you are a leader of your life. So how do you educate yourself on that? And I think finding yourself a mentor in some way, whether professionally, spiritually, something in your life. Like my brothers all grew up going to Scouts. They're Eagle Scouts. Several of my brothers are Eagle Scouts. My father is an Eagle Scout. And I think they learned to become leaders through opportunities in those organizations where they had to take action or be told to lead or given an opportunity to lead. So I think you have to educate yourself, one, and I think you have to jump at opportunities or be given a chance to know if you want to be a leader. How did you know you didn't want to be a leader? Have you taken an opportunity and then just, this is not for me?
To comment on your Eagle Scout thing, my sons and I are Eagle Scouts.
Sure, the moms.
Eagle Scout. But what's really amazing is how much the military respects Eagle Scouts. When Liam joined the Navy, they automatically, as he got out of boot camp, boosted him a rank because of his Eagle Scout.
Because of an Eagle Scout.
So
that's
apparently
incredible.
That adds a lot to leadership. I'm super thankful he got that because it really helped him. But yeah, I think you can learn leadership, and I think the scouting program is good. But there's all kinds of programs, that
there's
teach
sports
leadership.
Sports teams. So you have to be a leader somehow. If you play sports, if you're any sort of athlete, you have to take those leadership. So I think just keep working on those skills. I love to read leadership books, quotes about leadership, things like that inspiring me. Yeah. I TED Talks about good leaders. All those things I enjoy. So I think those are the things that I would do.
I know I asked Matt, how do you become a good leader? What makes a great leader? And his comment was education. Get educated on what you're doing, because if you know what you're talking about, you make a much better leader. There is nothing worse than someone trying to boss you around that doesn't know what the hell they're talking about, where you want to choke them, or then I become the leader and I choke them.
Corporate training.
But I think that the whole thing is just be aware of how you're showing up for yourself, fueling your own fire. Just by doing that, like that's you. You take ownership, you lead, and it makes me want to be a leader as well. So like you said, a mentor, you're kind of my mentor at that. So,
aw, you're mine in a lot of ways too. That's interesting. So that takes us to the next point, KT, which is...
Oh, this is an interesting one.
I love the phrase you picked for this one, by the way.
Control the powder keg. And men, I think you know what we're talking about. Life isn't one big soap opera where you're hopping in one romantic situation to the next. Control it. Keep a cap on it. Don't waste your time chasing after tail, as my husband says. Control the powder keg. Know what your body is going through,
and also be able to control it a little bit better. I think Jordan Peterson talks about that quite a bit. I follow Jordan Peterson. I've read several of his books, that clinical psychologist, and he talks about that a lot. There's nothing more empty than a one-night stand the next day. I mean, you get that opportunity and it feels right in the moment or doesn't feel right in the moment, depending on the situation. But when you walk away, it's empty and you really you used that energy and that powder keg for something that could have been more meaningful. I think that's a very smart thing. I don't think we need to say anything more about that.
So control the powder keg.
Absolutely. All right. Our next point is, so to be dapper.
Details matter.
Details matter. So pay attention to your grooming. Get occasional haircuts. I like occasional.
I wrote get occasional, but I think I meant consistent haircuts. But I'll settle for occasional. My son right now, he's trying to grow his hair out. His brother that's in the Navy is living vicariously through him and won't let him cut his hair. And oh my gosh, he needs a haircut so bad. But of course, I'm not going to say anything. They need to live their lives. But come on, at least get a trim, make it look nice. Be groomed.
I love follow proper hygiene procedures. It's like that's like a 3-minute timed toothbrush. That's so funny. Keep your nose and ear hair trimmed. I have a funny story about that.
Can I tell you about my? You brought up the toothbrushing. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you have one of these, but I have one of those electric toothbrushes, and it actually does have a timer in it. And it'll give you a little jolt when you need to change the area, and you have to hit all 4 areas.
That's so funny.
I like it. I don't have to think. My mind can be somewhere else, and I feel the jolts, and I'm like, first jolt, second jolt, third jolt. So, yeah.
I love it. I used to have one of those. Keep your nose and ear hair trimmed. So when I was single the first time in my 20s, we had a church group of women and young men, and we were all single together. And there was a boy named Stuart, and he was like not my type, but he wasn't he was handsome, but he had like a forest of trees growing out of his nose. Like it was
and not a mustache. It was literally
out of his nose. It wasn't on the upper lip. It was literally out of his nose. And I would sit behind him at church sometimes, or he would sit in front of me. I wouldn't choose to sit behind him, but it was so bad. And one girl who was a hairstylist approached him and said, "You really should trim those nose hairs." And he did. Funny enough, they ended up getting married and having children together. They ended up starting to date, but she had the nerve to just call him like, "You need to do something about that." And it really did change. She was like, "Why didn't anybody tell me this beforehand?" And he was like 25 or something like that. It was hilarious. So there's some validity to that. And ear hair. Yeah, ear hair is definitely a big one too.
So years ago, we were at an amusement park and walking through the game section, where you throw rings on bottles or whatever. And there was the guy there saying, "I can guess your age, within two years," or something like that. And as you know, my husband looks very young for his age. Mm-hmm. So he's like, "Oh, I can win this. He'll never guess my age." So he had Matt show him his profile. So Matt looked the other direction and he looked at Matt's profile. And he guessed Matt's age immediately. And Matt was so freaked out. And so Matt asked him, "How did you know?" And he said, "I look at ear hair. The older you are, the more ear hair you have." That changed Matt's life. Matt is the biggest ear hair groomer now. So just to let you know, don't let them guess your age.
It's like tree rings.
Your ear hair.
You could tell an old man by his ear hair. Like you could tell how old a tree is by how many rings.
Exactly.
Oh, that's so funny. We also noted launder your clothing consistently. Press when necessary.
Nothing bothers me more than a man unpressed. I hate weak collars on the shirt. Well, I mean, I'm thinking business
like a business wise, yeah.
Yeah, and oh my gosh, take it to the dry cleaner if you can't press it yourself. I mean, who has time to iron their clothes? Look good. Be proud of yourself. Put some nice duds on and wear them well.
Well, and I think when you launder your clothes, make sure that you're washing it with appropriate soap too, because men sweat and they get that weird mildewy, sweaty smell, and it kind of sticks in your clothes. So ask someone, "Hey, does this shirt smell?" Like even when it's clean, like, does this shirt smell? Because use some vinegar. Add some bleach. I don't know. There's a lot, like a million things that you could put in there to freshen up your laundry and make sure that you smell good. Because there's nothing better than leaning into a man who has like just freshly laundered t-shirt on or something that smells good.
Mm-hmm. I have a front loader washing machine, and I put vinegar in every cycle
Uh-huh.
because if I don't, because I don't know what it is with the front loader, but it gives off a kind
They
of,
smell
yeah. So I put vinegar in every time. So just get a big bottle of just distilled vinegar and just pour a little bit in the cup every time, and you will really notice
everyone.
a difference. Yeah.
It does. Are your eyebrows out of control? Get a wax.
Oh
Keep
my
your
gosh.
nails clean and groomed. Shower, shower, shower.
You know, my husband has eyebrows
A
that literally
fury.
are all over his. And so he went to like Supercuts or something, and they cut his hair, and the woman goes, "Do you want me to trim your eyebrows?" And he's like, "Sure." She literally took the razor and like shaved off his
Oh
eyebrows.
my
I mean, there was some left, but I
God.
said, "Matt, you can't just shave them. They need to be waxed. You've got hair growing next to your eye, over on the side of your head. They need to be waxed. I mean, I don't want you to look like a drag queen, but and if you go to a reputable waxer, they understand how a man would like to look as opposed to a woman. So I don't let the Supercuts girl shave his eyebrows anymore. He gets a little bit of a wax and is much more groomed.
Yeah, so the next one is be the lion. I liked this one a lot. Forget political correctness. We can respond to challenges and situations with power and clarity. Healthy aggression is embodying our boundaries such that we can face any circumstance with strength, yet have compassion for ourselves and others. So you need to
Well,
respond to your aggression wisely and not look aggressive. How do you do that?
it's a balance. It's totally a balance. I have so much respect for a man that can handle a bad situation, a challenging situation, with power yet compassion.
Authority, yet softness.
Yes.
Even in myself, I tend to have a little bit, I get excitable sometimes. I have to dial it back and really think through the situation. I think being stoic, that would probably be a word I would use in those situations, is to be able to just unemotionally react, but by doing so, that's compassionate.
Hmm. I was listening to something the other day, and they were talking about how the lion isn't the biggest animal. The lion isn't the tallest animal. The lion isn't the fastest animal, but the lion has the power. So you just have to remember that. Be the lion, no matter who you are.
Yeah.
Okay, stand tall physically and mentally. I'll do the mentally. Stand tall mentally. Be brave, be proud, be unyielding without retreating from confrontation and adversity.
That goes back to being the lion too,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
doesn't it?
standing tall.
Why did you choose mentally?
Well, because I thought about, okay, so the next part is physically, which literally is posture and your physical stand tall, stand up
Mm-hmm.
straight. Your parents would always say, I was tall as a kid. I still am tall, but it was really hard. They were constantly saying, stand up straight, have good posture. But when you're a young teen and you have no self-confidence, it was hard. So standing tall physically is important. But it also made me think, well, stand tall mentally too, with your mind, with your creativity, with your just be proud, be brave. That was what I thought. I thought,
Be
well, if you're going
comfortable
to
with
stand tall, you might as well do it both ways.
who you are, right?
Exactly.
Be comfortable with who you are and accept yourself for who you are.
Yeah.
I think that's it. It helps you. It does help you stand a little taller, be a little more proud. I agree. And then the last one is my favorite. Never give up.
Be persistent.
Be persistent. Strive to reach the goals you've set for yourself. Continue to be vigilant in the course of action to live a healthier lifestyle, to be a better business owner, to be a partner, a husband, father, or son. Endeavor to be a better, safer,
Oh, savor. Sorry.
saver.
A better speller?
That's a typo we did not fix. Endeavor endeavor to be a better saver or artist or whatever you desire to achieve. And work on them daily. I think is important even if it's for like a minute. I mean, I went to the gym the other day and I had every intention to just hit it very hard. It was raining outside, so I had to go inside the gym. And I really only like ran a mile, and then I was like, that's all I got today. And I left. But at least I did it. At least I did it. So I think you have to give yourself grace at times, because every day is not going to be perfect. Every day will not be ideal.
Well, I think it circles back to stand tall physically. Good posture promotes better breathing, positive feelings, pain prevention, improved concentration, good circulation, and higher self-esteem. So your posture, as far as standing tall, is important to your health. And I didn't realize that. And when as we grow older, we start to bend over and slouch over. So not just bugging your preteen about standing tall. As we grow, we need to constantly remember to have good posture. It's really good. It promotes some really important things.
I saw this item, and I don't know anybody who's purchased it, but I thought it was kind of cool. It was a thing that holds your back up, and when you start to slouch, it like vibrates to help remind you to like sit back up or to straighten up. And I thought that would be so cool. I mean, I try to remind myself as often as I can, especially when I'm driving in the car and I feel like I'm a little bit hunched over. You have to sit up. But I love that little apparatus. I don't know if anybody's ever used it. I would love comments if they have. And maybe we could get a corporate sponsor. We will sell that to help people work on their posture.
Do you remember when we were young? I don't know if they did it for you guys, but the book on your head, and they would try to have us walk. Yeah.
I forgot about that. We should try that.
I know. We should try it now. I'm sure mine would fall off. You see those women that walk with those baskets on their head, and they're not even holding the baskets on their head.
And it's full of like odd shaped things. Yeah. I remember doing that. That's so funny. In my kitchen growing up as a little girl, we would do, and my brothers would try to do that. That's so funny. I forgot about that.
All right. So that wraps it up.
I know your What You Gotta Do came fairly early in this. Do you remember what your What You Gotta Do was? You said you were going to be more daring.
I did say I was going to be more daring, and I was talking about also too working towards my big passion, which is retirement. But
that's right.
I do need to be more daring. So if you have any ideas, I'm not going to get on a skateboard. I got on roller skates recently and broke my tailbone, and that was not enjoyable. So maybe I just need to do things more daring as far as, you know what? Putting me on this podcast and putting ourselves out here, this is literally the most daring thing I've ever done. Remember how scared I was? Remember it took you years to talk me into it? I was like, ah.
And look how awesome you are at it.
Oh my gosh. Codie, we're the best.
We are. I don't know why we're not the number one podcast in the nation.
We will be soon.
In the world. Just kidding. My What You Gotta Do is, I don't feel like I'm being danger enough. I'm not daring enough. I'm going to take on a little danger in some ways. I don't know what that means yet, but I'll figure it out.
You just make it safe danger.
Oh, of course. I
don't know. Is that an oxymoron? Safe danger.
Safe danger. Oh, that's hysterical. Now it's time for our warm, fuzzy, cold, prickly. KT, do you want to explain what that is?
Yeah, I would love to. Warm, fuzzy is a great, wonderful, sweet thing that either happened or that you've been thinking about lately. And the cold, prickly is something pretty crappy and not too good, and you just want to talk about it and get it out.
So, KT, why don't you start us off with your cold, prickly?
Here's my cold, prickly. I just found out that two couples that I've always looked up to and kind of thought, oh, what wonderful marriages they have. Both of those couples got divorced recently, and I'm kind of sad. And I know you just went through a divorce in your life lately, and it seemed like I've never known anybody got divorced, and now I feel like everyone's getting divorced around me. And I don't know if it was you that said it or somebody else, but they thought maybe this whole pandemic has just, I think it's either strengthened relationships or ruined relationships.
Yeah.
And I'm really sad about it. And you made a point of saying, as humans, were we really meant to live a long life with one mate? And that's a really good question.
So, and I say that because, marriage, we used to only live to like 35, 36 years old. So we got married at 13 and we died at 35. I mean, we only had like 20-year marriages, really. But now people are getting married in, their 20s still, and we're living to be 80, 90 years old. are we really meant to live 60 plus years on this life with one? That's a long period of time. A long period of time. And I'm not saying nobody should do it, because my grandparents were married for 63 years and they are my heroes in my eyes. And I'm sad. I feel like because I got divorced, I hoped for that, right? I hoped for my grandparents, and it didn't work out that way. And that's completely fine. And whatever. But I just think like we can't be judgmental because we all have our own experiences. I think reasons, seasons, and lifetimes, right? People come into your life for those reasons. And I think just learn as much as you can from those situations and move on and blow up the past and don't look back.
It's just weird to me that these people have these great relationships and raise their kids, and their kids are gone. And now it's like party time for them. And they're like, oh, we're done. Bye-bye. Oh my gosh, you did all that hard work together and you can't even celebrate together?
Yes.
I mean, Matt and I are the happiest we've ever been now that our kids are gone. When our kids were there, that was a whole different story. But I don't know. I guess just like you said, people are different. There's reasons and seasons, and I'm okay with it.
And I'm always rooting for the marriage, always.
And you wonder in some of these later in life divorces if they literally said, we're going to stay together for the kids. And then when they're gone.
Yeah, is that the agreement that they made? That's, yeah. Wouldn't you let that
was
fly on the wall?
Yeah, that was an agreement me and my husband made. But then as soon as they left, it was like, oh, pressure's off. We love each other now. So anyway, that's my cold prickly. Thank you for helping me switch it out. I feel better about it now.
That's awesome. I'm sad to hear that because I know the torture that it is to go through it. I would not envy that. But when you can come out of it and learn something from it and to have it not ruin you, I think that's a different story. So I hope for the best for those couples. My warm fuzzy is I got to drive a convertible yesterday.
Ooh.
And it was so much fun. I love driving with my windows down. I only have a sunroof in my car, so I just sunroof and windows down. And it's not the same as a convertible. A convertible is a little bit different. So I got to take this little scenic route by the Lake Hefner. It was like driving beachside almost, like down the coast of California, even though it's Oklahoma. And you've got green rolling hills and grass on the other side. And then we turned through the country and started driving through the country in these beautiful country estates with this gorgeous green grass and beautiful horses running and red stables and American flags. And it was just such a beautiful... I appreciate those moments, and I love that. I love driving. It's so fun. It was a good moment.
As you were saying that, I was thinking about the national anthem playing behind you. Like that was very picturesque the way you just described it. Thank you very much. Yeah, I do love
that. I love patriotism.
Hey, what did you do with your hair while you were in the convertible? Did you have it up in a pony, or how did you not have it flowing over
I
your
had
face?
a French braid in my hair. French braid in my hair pulled back. So it was pretty good. It's not perfect. Sometimes the windows come up, but I put them all the way down.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted the whole experience.
Yeah, why not? As long as you didn't get any bugs in your teeth, you're okay.
I did not. Thank you for a windshield. That's awesome. Well, I really enjoyed this topic. And thank you for putting those points together and making them very poignant thoughts. I've been thinking about them for a few weeks now, and I really hope that we can inspire men and women to add some masculinity into their life.
And to also inspire some mutual respect for the sexes. Women are great, men are great, we're great together, we're great apart. There's no reason to pit anybody against anybody, especially in this day and age when we all need to come together. It's not a great time right now, so let's unite.
I could not agree with you more. Let's unite as women and as men, because as women, we cannot do it alone. As much as we think we cannot do it alone. We need men to help us. And, I will support all the men in my life as the best that I can in the way that they need, but I will definitely be sharing this podcast with a few people. Thank you for joining us this week on What You Gotta Do podcast. Remember to take action and claim freedom.
Thank you, Codie. Have a great week.
Bye, Katie.
Thank you for listening to What You Gotta Do. The music for this podcast is written, produced, and performed by Joe Steitler. Production manager and host for What You Gotta Do podcast is Codie Hardy. Creative director is Matt Johnson. I'm KT Johnson, your co-host and editor. This has been a hell of a production.
What you gotta do is listen!